Hello, hello, hello. Add comments to the stage. All right. We're live. Let me take and change the media. Got to call mom here in a sec. Hold on. All right. Am I on camera? I don't know if they fix this. All right. Calling mom now. Mama. Oops. There it is. Welcome to Miracle Mom. Oops. Let me take that banner down. Oops, banner. Take that.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. All right. I'm just setting things up here.
Yeah.
The visual.
The bookcase.
What do you say? You're looking at the bookcase?
Yeah.
Okay, I got.
And your right shoulder.
So I'm not on camera right now.
Well, your right eye and your right shoulder a little bit.
All right, let's see. Let's see what's going on here. All right. I thought we had.
There you are.
Yeah, but you're not on camera now.
Right.
Right. Why was this working the other day? Overlay. Oh, I know. I know. How's that?
You're still not there fully.
Let's see. What's going on here? There's that. There's that. What? Can you see me now? Am I on camera now?
Not completely. No. There. Yeah, just all you have to do is slide to your right. Don't touch anything.
How about now?
That's good. Keep it right there.
So nothing changed. All right.
Don't touch any buttons.
That's strange. All right. Just.
Are you seeing what we see?
No.
Well, move to the right. All right, stop.
Yeah.
Change nothing.
That's weird. All right. All right. I don't know
Listen,
why.
I want to speak to something you said about in Bible Every Morning when you mentioned you're waiting for memories of you.
No, not of me. Your history is my history. So anything you tell me about you,
right.
Anything you tell me about you.
I want to say this kind of in summary. Of course, I have lots of memories of you. But I as your mom, for whatever reasons, living my life, I created a lot of ping pong chaos along the way. The moving you guys all around and all that stuff. So there are a lot of wonderful memories. And I will be sharing some. They are very special. So it's not like I don't have them, obviously. But they're coming. They'll be coming.
All right.
Just stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Well, I was not fishing for that. I was making the point that when you talk about yourself and your own personal history, that's my history, right? My ancestry is my history, and so that's what I meant. But if you want to talk about me, I won't argue when you want to talk about me. That's fine.
But let me say this so that those who are watching and listening know, you and Michelle were the easiest children to have. You never caused me any hesitation. I even said to your father, you know what, these two are so easy, we could probably have 11 children if they were like these two. That's the truth. You guys were just, I don't know, you were so easy. It's the only way I can say it.
Well, thank you.
Anyway,
All I got to say is I enjoyed my upbringing. As you know, I'm I've been journaling a lot, and people that I've had this experience where I tell people in summary, some of the dysfunction or the moving a lot and this and that, and a lot of people like, man, how did you survive or how did you make it? And I'm
yeah,
like, I'm like, I, it's been a wild ride, but I really, yeah, there've been ups and downs and moments of trauma and stress, and everybody has those moments. And I'm like, I wouldn't change it for the world. I would not swap out my my chaotic timeline for, I don't know, growing up in one place in one town with, I wouldn't swap it out. So um uh as easy as you say Michelle and I were, you and dad were, even split up, you guys didn't cause me much trauma either. Much- I mean,
no, we didn't. When your dad and I separated, it wasn't the way the world does it today. We didn't put you kids in the middle of our own selfish whatever it might be.
right.
We didn't go through the courts and all that garbage. And we worked it out. You had time with your dad, and that really makes my heart feel good, because today you both have a wonderful relationship with your dad.
Yep.
I wouldn't interfere with that.
Yeah. Yep.
That's ridiculous.
Yep.
He's your father. Why do people do that crap? I don't know. Anyway, that's a whole nother deal.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
All right, Mom. Take it away. I don't know.
Shall we?
I don't know if I know this story. This one,
I don't think you do. I didn't share it on Mindful Masa, I
Okay.
don't believe.
All right.
So this will be, a new one.
Fresh.
And I have to apologize because my storytelling skills are poor at best. It's like trying to cram all this information into a very small time frame here, on Miracle Mom.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just so much around it that, as you understand, is also important. But anyway,
Well,
this memory's going to.
I consider this like the rough draft, the first pass, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're getting
Okay.
you're able. There's no pressure here. This is not a polished production. This is, let's just get it out. Let's just do it live, and we have a
Okay.
friendly audience. We have people that
Yeah.
are here because they just want to hear your voice. So
Okay.
all right.
Well, this is going to go back to the 1960s again, probably the mid 60s, and this is about my dad.
Okay.
This memory is at the top of my list.
Harry.
My dad's name was Harry White.
Is it Harold?
And my dad was a man's man all the way through.
Bricklayer.
He apprenticed as a bricklayer when he was a teenager, and he lived in Dansville, with my mom and all of us kids for his adult life practically. And the point being, he started as an apprentice, and over the years, by the time we all came along and were growing up, he had worked his way up to become a mason contractor. He had his own business. And
let me just interject real quick.
Sure.
I didn't know any of this.
Oh, you didn't know that part? Okay.
Well, I mean, I know it now, but I didn't know any of this until, I don't know, maybe I was 30. I don't remember exactly when I.
That's understandable.
Yeah, but I did that too, right? I worked in masonry for like 2 or 3 years.
Right.
Like when I was 19.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So it's like, following
Well, Dad,
in Grandpa's footsteps, but I had no idea. Maybe
right.
maybe you had mentioned it to me when in one ear and out the other, but it's like I'm grateful that I can identify with your father because I didn't really know him. He died when I was pretty young, and so
Well, my dad was a perfectionist in everything he did. And when he finally was able to have his own business, he specialized in tile and brick and concrete. And what he ended up doing was he no longer was hired by, outside contractors to help them. He had his own business, and his work was so outstanding that it was just by word of mouth. People would come to him. They saw his work, and he ended up in the later years when we all, grew up and eventually began to leave home. He specialized in private clients, in other words, people's homes, instead of big building projects. He helped to build the hospital in Dansville. He helped build the new elementary school in Dansville. He was on all of those projects. But then when he started his own business, he specialized in, people would call, we want this fireplace, we want a new deck on the back of the house, concrete, we want these brand new winding brick steps, all this stuff, whatever people wanted. It was decorative, it was beautiful, and the word spread around so that he got clients from 3 counties. The county we lived in and 2 counties around us. His name was well known everywhere. That's the kind of man he was, and he worked 6 days a week. 6 days a week to do his work.
You had 5 kids. 5 kids, gotta work hard.
It was hard work. He worked very hard. Anyway, that part of Dad is important to know. Now, the other part of Dad, being the man's man, he had his passions. And I've already talked about one, which was golf. He and Mom were members of the golf club, remember, in Dansville. They loved golf. They never missed on TV. They never missed watching the PGA tours when they were happening during the seasons. All they ever talked about was those famous PGA golfers back then, the Jack Nicklaus, the Gary Palmer, the John Daly, the whoever those famous golfers were, and they used to talk about, oh, it'd be so wonderful to go to one of those tournaments and watch these guys. They just ate it up. The other thing about my dad was he was a hunter and a fisherman. Those were his 2 passions.
I knew about
hunting and fishing.
I knew about the fishing, deep sea fishing, even.
What?
I remember the swordfish mounted on the wall at the house.
Right.
So and pictures of him standing next to these huge deep sea. Like, was he always a deep sea fisherman, or just you also like just?
Well, this is where this memory is leading.
Oh, okay.
Okay. At a point in time when all of us kids had finally left the nest, Dad was reaching retirement age. So there was one Christmas Eve, Mom called all of us kids to the house. She did not tell Dad this was happening. She arranged for all of us to meet with her. And this was on Christmas Eve during the day.
How old were you?
I can't. Dad maybe was working that day. I don't know.
How old were you? How old were you? How old were you?
I was probably 19.
Oh, okay.
By that time, and my brothers were all older and out on their own, and my sister was still at home pretty much. But okay, the point being, she needed us all to come together because she had spent 2 months preparing to surprise Dad with the dream of his lifetime, to be able to attend some PGA Tour tournaments that were going on in the South, Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina.
Oh.
She had this huge scrapbook. She opened it up. She said, "Now, I am going to surprise your father tonight. He does not know this is happening. In this book that you all are looking at are letters that I have what she did was she contacted every client my dad was currently working with. She had each of those clients, there were about 6 letters. She had each of those clients write a letter to Dad, and the letter stating, "Harry, what you're about to experience, we want you to know, do not worry about this job. You need to take this time off, and you need to enjoy yourself. The job will be here when you get back." And then they would sign their name. My mom was, the way she put it was, "Now look, your dad's going to make all kinds of excuses. So this book contains what we need to present to him. As soon as an excuse hits, we're going to tear it down." Do you understand what I'm kind of saying here?
Yep.
Okay. You can say no, Harry. You can say no. That's impossible. Don't even think about it. Come on. No, it ain't going to happen. Blah blah blah. Well, yes, it is going to happen. So she had this all prepared, and then the evening came later in the day, and Dad came home, usually around 5 or 6. All tired and worn out from work, and went up, took a shower, came downstairs, and he was glad to see us. It wasn't unusual for all of us kids to be there for Christmas Eve, so that wasn't a surprise to him. That was kind of what we did every Christmas Eve. We got together as a family. Anyway, so he comes downstairs, and this is all going on out in the kitchen. We had a kitchen bar out in the kitchen with stools all around it, and we're all gathered, and we're all sitting there and just talking. And
I remember that. I can see it. I know that.
He built that bar.
Oh,
that was the
okay.
bar he built.
Oh.
That tile on the top is what he put on it. It was beautiful. Okay, moving right along. All of a sudden, my mom pulls out her book, makes her announcement, says, "Well, Harry, we have a surprise." And here's the surprise. As soon as I get through sharing with you what we have here, we are going, you and I, Mom and Dad, we are going to get in the car, and we are going to take a trip. And we are all looking at Dad, and he's over there shaking his head, not up and down, but back and forth. We saw it coming, see? He's shaking his head, no trips. She starts in by reading each of these letters from every one of his current clients, basically saying, "Harry, don't be stupid. This job will be here when you get back. Go have a good time." Okay, now he's sitting back on the stool, and the blood is draining out of his face. As my mother says, "All right, Harry, the bags are all packed. Everything is ready. The money is there." All of us kids had put some money in to help finance this trip. And he's looking around, and the blood literally ran out of his face. And he could hardly move. He could hardly breathe. He couldn't believe it. Mom had contacted. There were 3 PGA tours that were currently over this holiday season down in the South that were going to be played. She had contacted whoever these PGA Tour people are, and got information and learned you don't need a ticket. You just show up. You see the crowds on the golf course. they haven't purchased tickets. They just know the tour's going on and show up. That's all you have to do. There was one in South Carolina, one in Georgia, and one in Florida. So Dad and Mom said to Dad, now you need to go upstairs, you need to change your clothes, put on something comfortable, because we're going to get in the car. We're going to get in the car right now, and we're going to go. She had booked reservations at motels or hotels. She had this thing planned to the T. My poor Dad, he stood up. I thought he was going to faint. I really did. I thought he was going to faint. So my brothers got up. They had to help him go upstairs and get dressed. Well, my sister and I, Mom had put the bags down in the cellar so he wouldn't see them. But my sister and I went and grabbed the suitcases and the bags, ran them out to the car. They had a station wagon. Dad always had a station wagon because of his work. So she had emptied everything out, and we're putting the bags in, everything she wanted to take. And my brothers bring my dad downstairs. Oh, the poor guy. He just couldn't believe this. He didn't know what to say. He couldn't fight against anything because we destroyed all of his excuses. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be laughing.
Of course you should.
Anyway, the way it turned out, we got Dad into the car in the passenger seat because he was in no condition to drive whatsoever. So Mom gets in the driver's seat and away they go. And they spent, it was at least 6 weeks traveling to each one of these PGA tours. And one of them was in Florida. And when Dad got to Florida, it absolutely changed him. He saw that ocean. He saw fishing, deep sea fishing, something he dreamed about all his life. They did go to the tour, but then they added some time to stay. They stayed in Marathon, Florida, and he was just in heaven. He loved it. And he said to my mother, all right, we're going back, and we are going to retire to Marathon, Florida. And that is exactly what happened. They finished their trip. My mother literally changed this man's life at a retirement age. He came back, finished up his jobs. I don't know how long that took, but maybe a year or so. But, and he was approaching retirement age anyway. He only had a few years left, and he was up in years, and this is the time. So they eventually sold the house, and away they went, and they retired to Marathon, Florida. And he became the first mate on one of the tour boats, them big boats that take people out deep sea fishing.
Oh my gosh.
And he just had a ball. He would share stories about some of these tourists who knew nothing about fishing, and some of them were just hilarious. But that swordfish you saw when you lived in Dansville was from that trip.
Oh, wow.
That they brought back while he was down there. He had it mounted. It's beautiful. Anyway, that's the story of my dad. Dad, just get in the car. Changed him forever. They lived there for about 20 more years. And Dad was in 1981 when I was pregnant with Philip, went down to Marathon, and Dad had a stroke, and he died. He died where he wanted to die.
Wow.
And it's just, what my mother did. I was thinking this morning how, love, the word love, Love, is a verb. You talk about love. What my mother did for my dad and for both of them was an act of love. That's what love is. Love's not just, that warm, fuzzy feeling we get. Jesus went to the cross. That's love. Anyway, that's the memory that I wanted to share. And I think about it so often, how my dad was so happy that Mom helped make his dreams come true. Really was wonderful.
So I want to go back to that moment, Christmas Eve. You guys are around the counter. I see that counter. I see that kitchen. I see this situation. We lived there a couple years ourselves, and all your brothers and your sister and your mom, and he's hearing this. And so you say the description of the blood draining out, and I'm just, at first I'm like, what is he? Is he angry? Is he this or that? Is he he was overcome by, he was disoriented. I can see it, right? He's like, wait a minute, nothing like this had ever happened. Your mom had put all this time and energy into something. She was driven to do it. And I obviously by the Spirit of the Lord, right? To do this and do this thing, because that's one of the, she loved her husband. They had this bonding moment. They loved golf. They loved being together.
Right.
And this is this life-changing moment for him. And he goes along, and I'm sure there was that, he was swept. Like, he's the father of the household, the provider, the man who's been laboring and doing what he's been called to do all of his life, and doing it well, and shining and being admired, and God providing a means because he's good at what he does. And then all of that, this is like the reward that he wasn't expecting. He was doing it out of duty. And then he's getting this totally unexpected reward. And it's a picture of heaven, right? He couldn't have even imagined this ever happening. And then it really happens.
Never.
And thank you for that. Cause
that's a good, I'm glad you're sharing it that way. That's absolutely what it was.
Well, it's painting the picture of my maternal grandfather that I never really had. I met him like twice in my life. And so I don't have memories with him. I just have just a couple of memories.
Pictures and because they were living in Florida when we lived in Dansville.
Right. And they came and visited at least once while we were there. And that's, I actually only have one memory of him. And it's not, I mean, and then he passed. And then, so I just want to share real quickly a brief story at the end of this that kind of ties into this. He passed. I didn't know him. But then I became a Christian. We lived in Kentucky. I had become a Christian at the age of 18. I was working at this printing warehouse that a friend of yours, his husband, got me that job or whatever. And I became a Christian, and I decide I need to go visit my grandmother because I didn't know she was a Christian. And you had said, oh yeah, my mom is a Christian. And I was 18 years old, brand new baby Christian. I'm like, I need to go visit my grandmother in Marathon, Florida. And I go to my supervisor at work. I'm like, I need to take a week off. And they're like, no, you can't. I'm like, then I quit. That's literally what happened. And they thought I was crazy. But here I'm a brand new baby Christian, just a few months into it. I just feel this strong urge that I need to go visit my grandmother. And I quit my job, and I'm getting ready to go on this road trip by myself to Marathon, Florida, which is in the Keys. It's like the day before I'm about to leave, I'm with you, and we're at like the grocery store or something. We come out of the grocery store, and there's this wallet laying on the ground. near the car. I had parked somewhere out. Maybe you weren't with me. I think it might have been by myself, but I found this wallet laying on the ground in the parking lot, and I pick it up. I open it
I
up.
remember that.
I open it up, and it's just full of money, like $700-800 or something. That
Uh-huh.
didn't cross my mind at all. There's a driver's license in it with an address on it. And I'm like, I gotta find this person.
Oh, yeah.
So I if you were with me or not, I remember picking you up at least, and we didn't have Google or Google Maps,
Right.
right? We find this address. I remember driving you and I for over an hour trying to find this place. It's somewhere out in the hills of Kentucky, somewhere. We finally show up at the front door of this house, knock on the door, and we're like, here is this. And they were so grateful that I don't know, remember who it,
Yes.
and they were so grateful because it was just payday and they had just cashed their check and then had, I guess, left the wallet on top of the car and drove away. And so I handed over, and they're just so grateful. What can we do? And I'm like, it doesn't matter. They gave me $20 or something. It didn't matter to me. It never crossed
Yeah.
my mind to keep this money.
Right.
And as we're
Right.
walking out of the driveway, I had just quit my job. I'm about to go on a road trip, and I'm walking out of the driveway, and we see in the driveway these stacks of bricks. And then we look at the car, the truck,
Yes.
the truck in the driveway, and I don't know if it had the name of the construction company or something on the side of it. And I'm like, I need a job. And I turn around, go back to the door, and I'm like, you guys, have a business? And like, yeah, we work in brick masonry. I'm like, I'm going
Oh
on
my
a
gosh.
I'm going on a road trip, and I need a job.
I remember that. Now I remember that.
Yeah, and they're like, yeah,
They hired you.
they hired me. And so I quit my job before I had another job, but I felt called by God to go visit my grandmother in Marathon, Florida. And that road trip was glorious. It was the only time I really spent quality time with either of your parents. And she, it was just a couple days in Florida, and I got to know my grandmother a little bit, and she gave me a Bible, one of her Bibles, her old Bible. I still have it somewhere. And then I drove back and had a job, and it all kind of, this God has,
the connection.
right.
Yeah.
God is crafting and scripting our narratives for us.
Absolutely.
And so thank you for sharing this, Mom.
Oh, I'm so glad you shared that. See, you have memories that I don't even remember. So.
Well, that's what we're doing here, aren't we? Right. All right. We're over time. I love you, Mom.
Okay.
Love you.
Love you. Love
Thank
you,
you.
everybody.
Now
Thanks for coming.
Now I can't wait for next week. What's going on? All right. Love you.
God bless everybody.
Signing off.